everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, afternoon. We have people joining from all over the world, which is pretty cool. We have Sarah and Mish here. Sarah is in Milan, Mish is in London. So we're really excited to connect today and talk about Pinterest.
Yes, welcome. We're so excited to have you.
You see
Thank you.
that people are from the UK, some fellow Texans here. I'm in Austin. Really excited to jump into this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Shall I kick off, everyone?
yeah. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Great. So hi, everyone. I'll kick off. My name is Michelle Pinchard, or you can call me Mish for short. I am a strategic partner lead over at Pinterest UK. I've been at Pinterest for 7 years and worn a few different hats while I've been here, all around acquiring and helping people with organic content on the platform. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Mish. Hi all, ciao. I'm Sara Di Costanzo from Italy. As you can quickly understand from my very strong accent, I am based in Milan. I've been in Pinterest for more than 2 years now. I'm a bit a rookie compared to Mish, but we are in the same team and I'm in charge of organic content too. So I'm really excited to be here and to drive you through the amazing content strategy you can have on Pinterest.
Awesome. So first of all, I'm going to be taking you through some of the Pinterest best practices, help you to understand why Pinterest, where we sit in the market as a platform, and a few things you should think about as a user mindset and a creator mindset. When I use the word creator, just to say I'm using that very broadly of anyone who's bringing content to the platform. So you might be a social media manager for a brand, an individual content creator, a publisher, large, small, medium scale, like everything hopefully is going to be super relevant and useful, tailored for those audiences. And then Sarah I'll be handing over to her halfway through to focus on some great tips for content strategy. And then we'll hand over to the Metricool gang to be able to talk a little bit more about how to specifically use Pinterest on Metricool. So hopefully it's going to be super useful for you. And please put any questions in the side as we go along, and we'll try and answer those all at the end. So first of all, the why. Why create on Pinterest, and ultimately, why will you use Metricool to help you? So I'm going to go in assuming that Pinterest is very new to everyone, although of course we all know Pinterest has been around for many years. And so you're probably very familiar with Pinterest to some degree, whether it's from a personal perspective, you might have used it for a project, you might have used it back in the day, you might be a regular user. But I'm going to be talking about how you think about Pinterest from a business mindset. It's not completely dissimilar. If you have that personal use, then try and think about yourself in those shoes, because that's the shoes of your audience as we go through this. So Pinterest is at a really unique position in the market. If you think about all of the other social media platforms, we don't talk ourselves as social media per se, and which will hopefully make sense a little more soon. But within that world, we're of course always compared with the other social media platforms. However, we're at quite an interesting intersection of search. So think of a visual search tool for Pinterest, and then also social, because you are able to collaborate, and it's such a visual platform that it lends itself naturally to the social teams who are working on the Instagrams, the TikToks, Snapchats. You know, Pinterest is obviously included within that world. But we're also in an interesting place. It just makes us a little bit different from all of those platforms. So think about these three particular buckets as you think about Pinterest. Think about us as a search engine visually, a social media platform, and then commerce. Shopping is a really natural behavior on Pinterest. And ultimately, we're looking to bring inspiration, discovery, and action to everyone that's on the platform, and all together in one place. So Pinterest is a great place for everyone. Like I said, if you're a creator, brand, publisher, a professional curator even, you are able to bring your inspiration, your speciality to the platform to inspire your audience and ultimately help them turn that inspiration into a reality, looking to enrich their lives, go away from the Pinterest platform feeling positive, feeling like they're able to step out into the real world and do something. Our audience is now bigger than ever. So we have over 500 million monthly users globally. Getting a bit of an echo, so hopefully you can hear me okay. And so our audience is the biggest it's ever been, and we have some really interesting segments of users. I think there's a lot of, as we've been around for so long, there's a lot of preconceptions of what a Pinterest user looks like now, but think incredibly broadly. I'll talk about this a little bit more in a moment. In regards to the volume of content, this number in the middle, 1.5 billion, gives you an idea of the type of activity that's happening on Pinterest. So content is saved, and so you can imagine one piece of content on Pinterest is we name it a pin, and they are saved to what we call boards, which are like collections of content. That's some of the Pinterest basics, and there's over 1.5 billion saves happening per week across the world. So it's a huge amount of really high intent action that people are taking on the platform. And talking of shopping, it's really an inherent action that people are taking on the platform. And year on year, it's something that's really growing on Pinterest. We've seen 50% increase on people who are clicking, saving buyable items. And so if you are a creator with products, if you're a shop, a brand, and you have products, then think about how Pinterest can be like a storefront for you as well. And so a new era of Pinterest is truly here. We've been here, as I said, for many years. And it's really, the past few years have really seen Pinterest 2.0 launch in the world. We are absolutely beloved naturally by Gen Z, which is a fantastic discovery of ours a few years back, where we haven't done any big marketing campaigns to acquire Gen Z users, but they have naturally come to the platform in droves. And so you'll be able to find your Gen Z users on Pinterest for sure. They're using the platform in a highly engaged way, where there's perhaps a time and a place for every platform. Pinterest is able to provide a safe space. I'll talk a little bit more about that later as well, that Gen Z are looking for, to have that quiet space. They're looking to focus on themselves, their lives, and really just find the inspiration that can enrich their lives. And so the Gen Z audience now make up over 40% of our monthly users, and that's an audience that just continues to grow really fast. I think everyone wants to try new things on Pinterest. And so this means that Pinterest has this really wide appeal. So think of your audience quite broadly. A lot of your audience is most likely already on Pinterest already. From those Gen Z students who are looking to do up their dorm rooms, to millennial men and women, which is kind of the classic assumption of who is on Pinterest. But the millennial men are there too. And then all the way up to thinking of this wide range of age demographic. Travel obsessed retirees is also a really nice example. So think about all those people that are here on Pinterest looking for that inspiring and actionable content. And the more of those people that are engaging with your content, so saving those ideas, saving your content to their own profiles, the more that your content is going to show up on Pinterest. It doesn't matter if people are following you. That's something that's very important on Pinterest and is different to social media platforms. You don't, as a brand, as a creator profile, you can have followers, but you don't have to for your content to show up. Users are going to be saving your content. It's going to be showing content to people who are like them, and your content will spread throughout the ecosystem. So think about how you can make that content really engaging, which Sarah will talk about more later, to help it spread across all these types of users that we have. And so how is Pinterest different to other social media platforms? As I mentioned earlier, it's a visual search engine. So think about the kind of keywords, and Sarah will talk a little bit more about this later too. Think about the keywords that are going in and that visual experience, so that people are able to find the visual that perhaps doesn't necessarily explain. They don't necessarily have the words for it. Maybe they have the visual and they're able to add the keywords. The longevity of the pin, so they have a longer shelf life. Think about Pinterest in a different pace than perhaps other social media platforms that you're working on. Content can be evergreen on Pinterest. So instead of content going live one day, having its hits, and then perhaps dying down, think about Pinterest as going live one day, and then it kind of gaining traction over the time that it's up there for. And that can be month, week, it can even be years. We see seasonal content, for example, like a summer salad, can come back for our creators year after year. So consider how your content does not need to be time sensitive, and that pace can be different. It might be that you set up your profile and you're not necessarily going to be seeing this is also really important when you're first getting started, having this patience to that's very different to other social media platforms, where you're slowly building. Perhaps your measurement of success is also a little bit longer because the pins naturally have a longer shelf life. And so think about that as you're working out what to look for positive profile. The audience is so intent driven, and so whether it's somebody coming to look for something to decorate a particular corner of their room, a holiday that they're going on, a big family gathering, there's a lot of intent that the users are coming to action on. So think about what you offer, how you can capture that interest. It's often very open-minded as well, so you're able to help drive that intent very early on in the decision-making process. And it's a great way for you to capture the attention of your audience. And so here is also just then saves over likes and follows. Curate your content, curate your profile with the intention of people saving, whether that's specific call to actions to say, save this content, or it's savable content, the kind of thing that people are going to want to come back to time and time again, a recipe they're going to want to save and revisit later. That high intent is going to get your content out there louder, prouder across the Pinterest ecosystem. And this is probably my favorite reason to, one, work at Pinterest, but also to be on Pinterest as a user. And it's that we're an inspiring place, but also a positive and safe place. I alluded to this with the Gen Z audience as well. And Gen Z are really coming to Pinterest to find that safe space or quieter space where there's not trolling and comments and not so much like the comparison kind of model that we see on other socials. And whilst that's true for Gen Z who have grown up with that world, it's also true for every other demographic as well. And so Pinterest allows a space for people to come and express themselves. And that's very much also true of brands and creators and publishers as well. You're able to really show your full character here. You're able to, if you're, say, a multi-hyphenate, if you have a lifestyle brand, a fashion brand, a food brand, you don't necessarily have to chop and change. You can bring all of that content to Pinterest, be yourself, and that content is going to be delivered to people when they're interested in it, rather than having to kind of segment yourself. So it's safe to really be yourself here. And there's a couple of interesting stats here as well that I'll just call out. So that I think also really helps us speak to the Pinterest user mindset. So 9 in 10 users said in a research project that we actioned that Pinterest is like an online oasis for them. And so think about how that's such an enriching feeling where people are coming and having that positivity and inspiration from the platform. It's like an oasis online rather than something that takes away from them. So consider that in your content as well. And we did a research project again in Berkeley around Gen Z. Sorry, let me just turn off my noisy WhatsApp as well. That's having naughty me. And the Berkeley study showed that just 10 minutes a day on Pinterest helped to buffer against burnout, stress, social disconnection. It's that online oasis time for themselves. And also we're hoping to send people out into the world off of their screens. We're not trying to drag them into their screens for longer and longer. So it has that positivity and enriching feeling. And so that's something that I really love about Pinterest, and I hope you all will as users and creators on the platform too. Next one is a little bit more, sorry, it takes a minute to switch, there we go. A little bit more about the people who are coming. And so again, think about this action that people are coming to the platform, the users are coming to the platform to want to take action, even if it's incredibly open-minded. The people who are coming to our platform are looking to do a thing. So think about how you want to send them off out into the world to do that thing. It can be buying something as well. That action can be a purchase, or it can be, here, I want you to interact with me with this new recipe that we've got, for example. And one stat that's really worth bearing in mind is that 96% of Pinterest searches are unbranded. So whilst you should think about Pinterest as a search engine, it's very different to how Google has evolved to become, where Google is very much more last click and you're perhaps putting in a brand name as part of your search. Pinterest is much more open-ended. You're not going to be looking on Pinterest necessarily broadly speaking, say for an IKEA table, but there's no reason why when you're looking for a table or something to fill that corner of your room, that an IKEA table, when served in organic or branded content, wouldn't be a very useful, natural thing for you to experience as a user. So that branded content, our users are very open to it, whether it's paid content or whether it's that organic content from a brand, creator, publisher as well. And so this stat, 1.5 times our weekly pinners are more likely to use Pinterest for inspiration on that purchase journey than other social media platforms. So whether it's big purchases, small purchases, think about how you're going to be able to build awareness and then action in that purchase journey. I'm going to just show you a quick example of the consumer journey as well, so that you can imagine what this looks like on the Pinterest profile. So think about yourself as a user on Pinterest right now. You're opening, and so this under C on the left-hand side, people are coming to Pinterest very early in their decision-making journey. They're looking for a trend-led green coat, and so the person is searching in Pinterest search bar to get something, get some ideas from this. Then they found one that they particularly like the look of, and they're saving it. So this middle image, they are saving it to their personal profile, to their board. And it's called, in this case, My New Green Look. This person's going for green. We love it. And then the person is going to take action on that coat. One of the pieces, the actual piece of content that we're using as the example here is actually an ad content, which can really come across as quite branded, regular, helpful content to the user. And so that actually is a type of content where they can click through directly and purchase that exact green coat. And so think about how the user is discovering your items, if you have items to sell or ideas to promote, and then how they can actually take that into the real world and how that looks in the Pinterest app itself. So ultimately, Pinterest is a tool that can work for you to target your audience really wherever they are in their user journey and wherever you're trying to find them in that decision-making journey. So curating and sharing those creative pins or like your recommended products on the platform can really help users to find what you're about and take action and ultimately potentially conversions on your product as well. So think about it as a full funnel solution from awareness all the way through to conversion. And then a couple of tips on how you should grow your business and your brand on Pinterest. So first of all, you need to reach the right audience. As I said, our audience is so broad. A lot of your audience will already be on Pinterest as well. And make sure that you're showcasing your products and your portfolio. So if you do have those products, if you are service-based or if you have products-based, make sure that you're showing those. There's some specific ways that you can make sure that your catalog is uploaded, for example, or making sure that your products are well displayed to make sure that your Pinterest audiences are coming and able to see the boards that you're curating with those collections, whatever that may be. You can build brand awareness on Pinterest. So as that visual search engine, the platform, you're able to have your content reach so many people and not just your followers. So remember that. And so that means that Pinterest is really a fantastic tool for increasing that brand visibility, your recognition, and you can share that valuable, engaging content to the wider audience that you're able to find on Pinterest. Think about how Pinterest algorithm can help you to reach that wider audience outside of your existing group of people who are already on your other socials. So you have a lot of potential to reach wider customers and expose your brand to new people. And then next up is around driving traffic. So Pinterest is not just that's loaded. Yeah, they look quite similar. Pinterest is not just a visually pleasing platform. Think about it as a powerful traffic driver. That's something that's really special about Pinterest compared to some other social media platforms where we sit in that digital landscape. So think about when you're creating your pins that they link back to specific pages on a website or product pages or blog posts so that people can click through onto your content and go somewhere with that. So think about what that action you want people to take. Where are you driving people to? Ultimately, it might be Shopify, Shop, and Etsy, your blog, for example, or even your other social media platforms. You can also add affiliate partnerships in here for your links. This can really help. We see a lot of people having a lot of website traffic increase as a part of this, and ultimately more sales, signups, conversions as well. So think about how that can work for you in your messaging and content that you bring. And then monetizing your content, monetizing your passions. There's several ways that you can monetize your content. It might be by partnering with brands as a creator, and maybe you're already working with different brand partnerships through different social media platforms. Now, if you build up your Pinterest audience, you can also add Pinterest as part of your media kit, for example, to work with the brand partners and sell that on as part of the partnership. Or it might be that you're able to earn commission through affiliate marketing, for example. We can give you more details about that in our follow-up.
I just want to take a second, Mish, and kind of ask our audience. I know that I've seen some comments of, people using, I just want to know if people are using the platform mostly as a user, if they're, creating a lot of content, if they're using ads, if anyone wants to just kind of drop how they use the platform mostly. I think that'll give us a good idea. There's so many different ways that people can use the platform.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's great. It'd be really great to understand. Thank you. And I think also if you're able to understand how you're using it from a user perspective, if you've ever planned a home renovation, planned your dinner, planned an outfit, planned your wedding on Pinterest, if you're coming with that experience, think about how you use that, when you use that in the big moments in your life and the smaller moments in your life. And if you're then looking at it from a brand perspective, what kind of content can you give to that type of audience that's going to be really useful? And I think that's one thing that sometimes people who have been familiar with Pinterest for a long while, as a business, a brand, a creator, once that penny drops of like, oh, I've got so much content that I can upload onto the Pinterest platform that would be very useful for people to understand, to read this blog post, or to understand the how-to, or to just see a beautiful visual of a haircut or a fashion look or whatever it is, that once they realize all of this fantastic content that they, as a content creator, broadly speaking, have to give, then it really enables them to understand as a business how to use Pinterest. And if you have that personal experience as well, if you only have that, it's great. Think about yourself in your audience's shoes. So yeah, this is very much, this slide says that they're very open-minded when they arrive. I think that speaks to that user experience. If you've ever used Pinterest, even in a small way in your life in the past, if you haven't used it before, then I encourage you to just check it out. Think about it with maybe with a project in mind as well. It's always quite a nice way to get involved on Pinterest. But you naturally, as a user, we see our users come very open-minded, but they leave decided, whatever that is. Whether it's something that's a dream that's 10 years down the line, or it's literally that example of what to have for tea, for dinner this evening, or what to wear for that interview tomorrow, then people make up their mind on Pinterest. And you, as a content creator, a brand, publisher, anyone bringing content to the platform, have the ability to influence that decision that person is making, big, small. Next slide is coming. And so this is a little bit of an example, a little bit of a gateway into think about Pinterest users as planners. So again, whether it's people looking at that evening, that next day, week, or often to the years to come, everyone on Pinterest is a planner to some degree. They're planning something in their life. And so think about how they're looking forward. It also gives us lots of incredible data of what's going to happen coming up for trends and for things that are happening. So Sarah will touch on this as well, but think about trends, and we'll have some follow-ups later on in the year as well of some fantastic trends that come out of Pinterest data, because our users are looking for that inspiration so far ahead of time. And now, just for my section to wrap up, just a couple of useful tips and tricks around setting up your business account. So if you're fresh to Pinterest as a business, as a content creator, the first thing you need to do is to have a business account, whether that's converting your existing personal account into a business account, that's possible, or setting up a fresh business account. It's the first thing that you'll need to do to make sure that you have access to all of the features that we're talking about, and also have access to analytics to understand what's helpful and what is useful. So you should definitely have that business account so that you can access those analytics, audience insights. You'll be able to access an area that we call the Creator Hub as well, that will give you some pointers around how you can best do more best practice. You can go into even more detail than we are today on that best practice, and you'll be able to look at things like integrations, which we'll talk about in a second, and access to those trends. We have some tools that are really fantastic as you're planning your content and your profile on Pinterest. And so here we just have a bit of a walkthrough. And so you need to this is maybe a little bit detailed, but I'll just walk you through it just in case it familiarizes for the future. So make sure that you're going into a business account, and you can link this if you want to, or you can, as I just mentioned, convert a personal account to a business account, and you can Google this very easily, and you can find the relevant Pinterest pages that will help you go there. We're also going to send a follow-up as well that's kind of like a step-by-step checklist that will help you with what it is that you need to do. And it has some deep links into some of those particular Pinterest help pages of like what you should be able to read a bit further or spend some time on your checklist to get your profile set up, which hopefully will be really helpful as you get started, whether you're looking to do it from scratch or whether you're looking to upskill your Pinterest game. And so these are the 4 steps you should really be thinking about that are the most important. So optimizing that profile, whether you're doing it from scratch or upgrading, make sure that you've got very easily identifiable. It sounds very obvious. Of course, you would have your business name. Of course, you would have that make sense, but make sure that it does make sense. And from a user perspective, think about the keywords that are, yes, of course, your business name, but then the description on your profile. Talk about your business, but also, is there any additional keywords that you can add in there that are relevant and flow within a normal kind of beautifully copywritten section? But make sure that any bit of content that you're putting onto Pinterest, it's going to help our system recognize and deliver your content to the right people. So even on your username and profile description, make sure that that's short but relevant. You can claim your website. So if you have a blog or a website, a shop, then you can make sure that you're claiming that. And any of our users who are saving your content because they love your stuff, they might be able to save your website page and save it to their board. That's possible, even if your content isn't on Pinterest. You'll actually claim all of the analytics from that. You'll be able to see what's happening. And hopefully that makes sense, because that's a little bit more detailed if you're not familiar with Pinterest in a lot of detail. But claiming your website is really, really helpful to grow in your profile and understanding what other users are doing to your content already on the platform. And this is also very similar for a new feature that we've launched, which is the ability to claim your Instagram profile. And so you can claim that Instagram profile, connect them in the back end under settings, and that means that your Instagram content, it uploads like the recent 90 days of your feed content, and then also it allows you to auto-populate Instagram content, which could be a lovely way to just keep your content fresh on your profile as well and help you work across Ultimate. And then you can also, of course, use Metricool to help with scheduling all of that content too. It's quite a nice little best practice to have working in the background, and then you can use Metricool to schedule even more. That visually appealing profile is really lovely to have, making sure that you've got that credibility and making sure that your profile looks the professional brand that you want to showcase. And then that profile description is really important. And then I think I'm handing right over now to Sarah, who's going to talk you through more in-depth content strategy tips. Over to you. Oh, are you on?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes. Sometimes my dog get crazy, so it's better to have the mic off when people are talking. That's fine. So thank you so much, Mish. I'm happy to drive you all through some of the best practices that we have on Pinterest. But what I want to refresh after Mish's speech is the idea of visual search engine, because Pinterest is that, and if you have that in mind, always, let's say, it will be easy for you to understand why we need that best practices when it comes to build your content strategy on Pinterest. Search engine mean people coming on the platform looking for an answer. So people are looking for, how can I dress for a graduation party? What can I cook for the dinner with my family? How can I renovate my living room? And of course, your content need to be the answer. Your content, your product, your blog post, your videos, everything you can produce need to answer that question. You can see there are a lot. You will always see on Pinterest content coming from the home decor world, from fashion, from beauty, from foods, from sports, from healthy tips. We have a lot of different vertical working very well on Pinterest, but we are also able to split, let's say, the content type in three main areas. And these three main areas basically will help you to build each SEO content strategy in the world, let's say, that works very well on Pinterest too. So let's imagine these three areas. On one side, we have seasonal content. The naming speak by herself. So seasonal means related to specific moment of the year. So basically, content that works on Pinterest are the one that answer the question about specific and very important moment of the year. You can look for a bikini outfit for your summer holidays, or for home decoration for Instagram, or how to change your closet while autumn is coming, right? Exactly right now in Milan. So your content will have to adapt to the question about how can I be there when that moment of the year come. Think about one important thing. People, users on Pinterest come way before that moment happened. So in September, people are starting to plan how to decorate their house for Christmas. I know it sounds crazy maybe, but this will definitely help you in understanding how to plan your content, when to plan the right content at the right moment. So suggestions start now scheduling your content for Halloween, for Christmas, for Black Friday, because so the platform will have the time to read your content and help them spike in the moment where the people were looking for that specific content. On the other side, we have what we call the trend-driven content. Brat, demure, very hot topics that are really populating our feed everywhere, that can definitely help your engagement have a boost in a specific moment. You know, they won't last forever. They will last maybe 1 week, 3 weeks, 3 months, but you can definitely leverage that kind of content because you know that Pinterest is where trends take place, have a shape, and especially build an aesthetic. So you can be there helping users to build that aesthetic with your content. And on another side, you have the one and only evergreen content, timeless content that will always help you in the background, let's say, your content strategy to have success. You have content that we call life moments, like the graduation, the weddings, the living alone moment, the some specific moment related to childcare. All that moment that happen for everybody more or less, and then will always that can always help your traffic. So can always bring people to your profile, people to your blog, people to your e-commerce, because people will always look for them. And we also have what we call everyday moments, so skincare routine, makeup for brown eyes, family dinner, every topic that will be always there in the life of everybody. So the one and only suggestion that I can give you to build the perfect Pinterest strategy, so the perfect content strategy on Pinterest, is diversification. So do a mix of this content, take the advantage of trendy content, build your forever lasting strategy with the evergreen, and take advantage of the seasonal spike to be sure that your strategy will be successful. And this idea of mixing different type of content drive us to one of the most exciting for me, but I hope also for you, superpower that you can have on Pinterest, that is curation. So we are all about organizing things. So Pinterest is the best place where you can organize your content save content from your website or from the platform, and help users in understanding you, all in the same space, your profile and then your boards. So the more you curate the content based on the answer that you want to on the question you want to answer, the more you will help people in understanding your business, in find your content, and in understanding what you are proposing to them. The best place to, you know, curate is of course the board. And if you think about the board, it's something very specific, it's something really unique, and is the main, let's say, differentiator that we have on Pinterest. So you have the possibility to have on a social platform, social media kind of platform, a way for you to propose content that are really editorialized, that really reminds you something that you can find on a publisher, even if you're not. So you have the possibility to organize, collect, and save the content, the products in a specific way, the way that better represents you. So what we suggest you to do is, next slide, okay, coming. When you think about how can I create my content, think about how you can collect them. So you need to think about the boards when you think about the content you will create, because this will help you in be coherent. I'm not sure that this is the right pronunciation, sorry, because I'm Italian, so you can really understand it, but when you think about the content you want to bring on Pinterest, think about the way you can organize them. So you can save the content in your board. Your board will be the box, the SEO box that will help you describe your business. So you will create your board with a very specific title related to specific topics, and then you can organize it internally, dividing the topics by subtopics, let's say. So you can create section in your board. You can see this example here. You have food inspo, and then you have dinner, summer drinks, etc., etc. But we can also do another example. For example, let's say that you are a home decor e-commerce or publisher or creator. So you decide to create a board related to living room renovation. So you will have your title, living room renovation, and then you will start saving content in this board. And the moment you have a nice amount of content, you can start to organize them. So you can have carpet collection, or sofa inspiration, or color palette inspo, and then you can organize your content internally, and this will help your user, your customer, your clients in understanding how to find the perfect answer to their question. One nice thing about boards is that they can be shared. So you can share a board with a specific amount of people. You can share it with your clients if you are a social media manager to show your idea about specific projects. You can share it with a content creator if you are a brand, to let the content creator curate your products from your website. So you have a lot of opportunities to share your board to create different kind of business opportunities. And new feature that we are really, really excited about, especially because it's a way to be creative when it comes to curation, is collage. Collage basically will allow you to combine your pin in a different way. So you can create it via mobile, and you can use it to provide specific idea of the way you want to organize your content. So let's say you can create a collage collecting vintage lamps, but you can also create a setting that will be the perfect example of home office settings that people can create with your products. So you can really have fun and think about that. You create collage from your pins. So all the elements that you see in a collage are linkable to your pins that drive traffic to your website or your Instagram page or whenever you want. And let's also remember that we are doing business here, so we want people to reach our content. We want people to see our business. So now another new feature that we are super proud of, you can share your board. So you directly via Pinterest, you will have the chance to show your work on Pinterest to other people on other platforms. You will have 3 templates that are really fancy on my, for my POV. One is the video template. I'm not sure it's moving. For me, it's not moving, but basically the first one that you see, it's a slideshow that will be composed by some of the image that you have in your board. That will be one after another one. The second one is the grid video. I don't know. Is it moving for you guys? Ish,
Yeah.
Alex?
Yes,
No. Okay. We will share maybe some example later. So the second one will be a video of like the grid that you have into your boards, and then you will have a static image like the last one. And if you share it via Instagram stories, you can also add the link to your board. So drive traffic to your Pinterest. Where else? To be honest, I don't remember when oh yes, one of my favorite part. I come from SEO. I have a lot of experience in content creation related to SEO. So I love keywords. But these are it's a very important point. Misha already told you before, keywords, it's the way people will find you, the way people, clients, customers will find your business, your products, your content, your video tutorial, and everything you're publishing on Pinterest. So it's very important for you to think about keywords every time you publish a content, every time you set up a boards, or every time you want to, maybe refresh your profile, because not only will help users to find you, but also Pinterest, our algorithm, to understand what your business is about. So will help you to categorize your content and, match the user needs with your content, proposing your content. So you can add keywords almost everywhere, but I can tell you more or less where. So when it comes to pins, whether it is a video or a collection of image / carousel or just a static image, now we call everything pins. So you will have just one way of producing content that is called pins. So no matter the format, add keywords in the title and then also take advantage of the description, because there you can also add what we use called sub keywords, secondary keywords. So let's say that your main keyword will be living room renovation, or better, more niche, industrial living room inspo, and then you can add in your description, you can use a Moroccan carpet and then an amazing yellow sofa. So take advantage of that space to help both the algorithm and people understanding what you are proposing in your content. Then you in the publishing tool, you also have the possibility of adding keywords. So take advantage of them. Don't look for very specific keywords, because you won't find it. You won't find maybe yellow, mustard yellow sofa, but maybe you will find sofa. It's okay. It's cool, because it will help you. It will help Pinterest to understand what your content's about. And also, as I said before, don't forget to add keywords in your boards, both in the title and in the description. Of course, you have a profile. Of course, you have your name on your profile and also the bio. Don't forget to add keywords there, because this will help the algorithm to define your business, to define your passions, to define what you are proposing to the Pinterest fan base, the Pinterest users. And you have mainly 2 tools to find keywords, but I'm not sure that the second one is available in all the markets of the people connecting today. So focus on the first one, that it's available for everybody, and it's in the Pinterest both app and desktop version. So the search tab, type your idea, let's say kitchen, and see what Pinterest suggests you, because these are all the terms that people are looking for on the platform. So we really suggest you to have a look and maybe think about different content or the way you can organize the content that you already have. If you are in Europe and in US, and I think also in Latam, I'm quite sure you have the trends tool. I'm not sure for the APAC users, sorry. The trends tool is basically a tool that you can find in your Pinterest profile from desktop that propose you the trends and the keyword that are most popular in your countries. But also you have filters on the left that will allow you to go deeper. So to select specific vertical or ages or gender that can help you to, set up your content strategy. But to be honest, search bar, go for it. It's really easy and it's really, really helpful to build your strategy. Next slide. Let's be honest, we are all full of work. We don't have time to create content, different content for each platform. We are super aware. We are not asking for it. Of course, the more you know, answer the question that Pinterest is answering, the most you will find success. But you can definitely be smart and schedule your content on multiple platforms, including Pinterest. Some tips that we want to share with you, some, let's say, must have that are really important are this one. I want to go really quick to, pass the mic to Alex and Aniston. So no watermarks from other platform. We don't like it. You can imagine it. People want to see aesthetic content, so people don't want watermarks on content. So have a look on the safe zone that we have, meaning if you go on mobile, you can see that on the bottom you have the Pinterest profile, the description, and some button on the right. So take care of them when you are repurposing content. High quality video and image. I don't want to say it. It's a visual search engine, so please take in consideration the aesthetical part. And other two very important points are think about people using the app with the sound off. So maybe leverage something like subtitles also to, make your content more inclusive. And of course, we provide you with some music, so take them in consideration to avoid any problem. That said, I pass the mic to Alex and Mr.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. That was very insightful, very helpful. Sarah, I'm also in the SEO world. So for me, that was really, really interesting. And the Pinterest trends tool is amazing. And you can even, filter it by demographics and age and all of these things and date range. So for anyone who's, really wanting to use keywords and wanting to understand which keywords to use, that is a great tool.
Yeah, actually, when we're scheduling out content for our own platforms, we use a combination of both, just searching into Pinterest as well. And we love both of them. We think that they're super helpful.
Cool.
Amazing. All right, so let's dive into combining these two amazing tools. So Pinterest and Metricool. If you manage your Pinterest account or you're, kind of wanting to create more content on this platform, planning ahead, kind of like Sarah said, of, these different life moments is really important. Not only will it kind of clear your mind and kind of alleviate some of that stress in content planning, but it'll just, give you a nice overview and also allow you to plan content, like you said, in a diverse way. So I think it gives you a nice roadmap of how you can break up your content, that trendy content, that kind of more evergreen, in our platform with, planning ahead. It'll give you a nice overview of what content you're planning. So let's dive into it. Of course, it's going to be slow. All right, so here's just kind of four modules we're going to go through. So, of course, staying consistent on any platform is recommended. This will, allow you to keep a constant stream of brand awareness, and also, as we've said, that the network really favors consistency. So this is our first tip that we always recommend is staying consistent, and scheduling and auto publishing kind of gives you that availability. And then the next part is automation. So one of our tools is called Autolus. So you can build out kind of a reoccurring stream of content. This is great for repurposing strategy. So if you want to stay consistent on the platform, we always recommend that auto list, that automation. Analytics and optimization. We are huge on analytics. Data is what drives, the optimization and your strategy of how you can enhance your content. So the power of Pinterest analytics and also Metricool's analytics will give you a really great overview of how you can improve your content. And then collaboration and teamwork. I'm sure most of us work with some marketing team or social team, and having a kind of workflow for your team, whether it's a review process or creating content in collaboration. Our tool has a approval process, and this just really makes for an easy content review, as you want to maintain consistency.
It's also super helpful because Pinterest is such a visual network. It's nice to be able to have a second eye on when you're doing that approval process, because sometimes you stare at something so long that you miss things. So it's nice to be able to, tag a team member or just have someone give it that extra set of eyes to make sure that everything looks great, so that when it is published on Pinterest, it is visual and aesthetic and matches your branding as you please.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the first tip that we're going to go into is staying consistent, and this is going to walk through kind of the logistics of connecting your account. So it's super easy. You can create a free account with Metricool, and then if you go into the Connections tab, you can find the Pinterest tab and just quickly authorize the app so that it connects your profiles. And then this will allow Metricool to pull in all your data, and then obviously the auto publishing part. So we highly recommend you connecting your account. Again, it's free. We have a completely free platform, so really no harm.
Yes, and it takes literally less than like 2 minutes to make the Pinterest connection. It's super easy. You're logged in. It's just one quick authorization button.
All right. And then analyzing, like we said, data is, should be a key part of your strategy. So within our analytics tab, all of your connected platforms will have an analytics section. And here you can see kind of a community overview of how your impressions are doing, your followers, and then also you can break it down into your pin clicks and your outbound clicks, your saves, all of the important things that you want to analyze. And then also one of our favorite features is the list of pins. So in whatever period you're analyzing, our tool will give you a list of your top performing pins. So we highly recommend looking into this so you can see, what has worked best for your account, so you can reuse some of those strategies and continue, once again, improving your content.
I also just want to add that we did just add a feature in the analytics. So when you are looking at your list of top pins, let's say you want to repurpose those out, since we were just talking about how we want to work smarter. So you can just hit that reuse button and it will take you to a new tab, and you can schedule that pin again. And it makes it super easy that you already have the graphic if you want to change up maybe just the caption or the description words. And you can do all that in just like one quick, easy go.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we're going to go into the planning and scheduling part. So within our platform, it's really easy to schedule your content and add it to any of your boards. So when you're in the platform, you can just highlight Pinterest, add in your content, and then in the Pinterest presets, it'll have an option to, add a title, connect it to a board, and then add a description. So, as we mentioned, hitting those keywords, organizing your boards, and then making sure that, you're describing your content as best as you can. And then the auto publishing part, which is a huge win, it eliminates having to go into platforms, especially if you're managing multiple, different accounts across networks. It can get really overwhelming to go to each platform manually, add in all the content. So once again, this just really helps you plan in advance and stay on top of everything. And then the last point, as we mentioned, the teamwork and collaboration. So when you're scheduling out your content, we have a few different options. So you can save it as a draft. You can, schedule it, publish it now, and then the send to review option. You can send it to a client or a team member, and it will send them an email with the content so that they can quickly approve it. Or you can also, make a setting to have them, it can be auto-published they don't have to, approve it. There's different settings based on what your brand or what your team needs. And then if it's approved, it'll go ahead and just auto-publish and be good to go. If there needs to be any revisions, the client or team member can, add in those edits so that you can edit it, and then it's good to go for auto-publishing.
Yeah, we have a couple of different options as well, just so that we can cater to all the different team needs. So, for example, like Aniston was saying, you can send something to review, but let's say they don't necessarily need to approve it. You just want them to take a look at it, but it can still go out on the set date. We have that option. We also have the option where absolutely everyone needs to accept the approval before it can even be published out. So there's different options for whatever your team would need. And also, if a user does have a Metricool account, when they log in, they can see those posts that they need to review right in their tab section.
And Jordan here left a comment, said, I already use this feature to schedule a week's worth of pins for 3 different accounts. So again, that just shows you kind of how much you can accomplish within this platform. So, instead of jumping between logging in and logging out of accounts, you can just click on the drop-down menu, hop between brands that you're managing. Not only can you schedule, but view the analytics for everything. So really just alleviating the stress of social media managers. And yeah, we highly recommend, again, connecting your Pinterest account and really leveraging your options for this platform. It's such an amazing platform, and we just want to give all of the tools and resources that we can to our fellow social media managers, those wanting to use this platform. Amazing. So that concludes our presentation. We now want to open it up to questions. I know that we have some questions that I pinned from earlier, but feel free to drop any of your remaining questions, and we'll make sure to answer those. So this one is one that we get all the time. Is there a noticeable difference in views when scheduling pins natively or using a third-party tool? So this is kind of a myth we always like to bust, because this is not true. There's no penalization for scheduling your content. We are a Pinterest partner. I don't think we would have Mish and Sarah on today if we weren't. So we always want to let people know that you won't be penalized for scheduling your content with a third-party tool, whether it be Metricool or something like Tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just from a Pinterest point of view, just yes, of course, everything that you said, and yeah, that's true. And so it's definitely a myth from ye olde days, I think, of Pinterest. So that's one that a myth that we can bust right here.
It's a myth that has stood the test of time, because we get it all the time.
And
Yeah,
that's
right.
not to say, Lucy, that's totally, that is still a valid question.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it gets asked all the time. And so it's something that, yeah, please, Lucy, please help us fight the good fight and tell everyone that we can use third-party tools as well. Because it's definitely something that we're trying to be louder and prouder about, because I think it's clear that we probably weren't clear on that back in the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cheryl asked this, would this work for affiliates as well? I think this is a great platform for affiliate marketing. I don't know if you guys have kind of a point of view on this, but I think the option to add any links in your pins and drive traffic is a great way to use affiliate marketing.
100%. I'm going to jump in. Sorry, I'm too chatty. So yes, definitely. There are a few official affiliate partners that we have. You can find this on our help pages if you can try and Google that, or we can try and send a link. So they're ones that we recommend. We're always looking to grow those. And so affiliate links is something that we're always looking to improve on the platform as well. And it's definitely something that I would highly recommend you use, making sure that all of your content has links. And yes, if you work with affiliate links, absolutely make sure that you've got that in there. It can really help you.
Amazing. Okay, and then Jen asked, are idea pins still useful? I think I would also like your guys' point of view. I mean, from our end, obviously, yes, they are.
Yeah, totally. So again, this is something that's idea pins. I'll explain for everyone else. Idea pins are a new format that we brought out a few years ago now. It was almost an antidote to the story on other platforms. It was a longer form, longer living, evergreen piece of content format where you could have multiple pages. There was it was very creator friendly. It's the first time that we really had music, stickers, different links within the multiple pages in one piece of content. That was launched as idea pins as a feature in the tool, and now we've taken all of the good things from idea pins, what was really working for our users, what was really working to drive content, and we've aligned that. So now when you go to create content on Pinterest or through Metricool, you'll see an aligned, simplified way to create content. So when a few years ago, you were able to log in and create a static pin, a video pin, or an idea pin. And now we've just brought those all together. So you can now just create on Pinterest. And that then you can choose, is that video content? Is that a mixture? Is that a static content? You're able to take all of those really creator-friendly tools that were launched as part of idea pins and create the content that you want. So use the content creation as you like, as it works for you. Video content is very helpful, and as well as static, and think about that multi-format type of content, what works for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we also have another question from Lucy. What is the ideal amount of pins per day that should be posted? And is there a rule around linking to affiliates? Still no-go. So affiliate, I think we've answered that. But what is the ideal amount of pins to post? This is, a question we get all the time. Again, consistency is key. I don't think there's a specific number that needs to be hit per se. But I guess, want to hear your guys' point of view for
absolutely. I always hate to say an exact number because again it becomes myth and legend, but you have a lot of leeway on a daily basis, like into the hundreds of the maximum content you can post daily before it's start to flag as spam, for example. And so what we say, and it sounds, Lucy, that you've got a lot of content here, and so that's something you're hoping to post daily anyway. But one thing that we would say as a minimum, broadly speaking, is we want to see creators, again, that term broadly used, posting on a weekly basis. So that's your minimum, having that consistency. So if you were going to post 25 pins, you could do it all in one day, but if that's all the content that you had for that month, for example, make sure that you're scheduling it so it's hitting every single week, so that you're able to algorithm is seeing you as a weekly active creator, and so that's really important. And so within that, then obviously if you have lots of content, which is fantastic, if you've got all that content to work with, think about how you're scheduling that throughout the day. And once you get into the hundreds, if you have that amount of content, then good for you. And think about our bulk upload creation tools that you can use as well, and the Metricool tools, so that you can bring that a level of content. But so long as you're under a couple of hundred pins a day, then you're going to be good.
Amazing. Okay. So this question is asked by Jordan. Is there a way to incorporate tags for pins in Metricool? Right now there isn't, but we're going to bring this back to our product team because we know that it's a really important feature for users. So we'll bring that back and hopefully update you pretty soon.
Definitely keep up to date with our socials. Join our email list. That's where you would learn firsthand if we've added anything new.
Okay. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Does long form content have good reach on Pinterest, like videos of 3 to 5 minutes?
I can take it, Mish, if you want.
Please.
Yeah.
That's the question around videos, I think. But this is, I want to play a game. It's more like you answer. So I think that this kind of question can be answered more from the analytics that from us. So we can tell you, you have a maximum amount of time, and in general, people used to watch very short content on the digital surfaces. So that's the rule. But if you see that, for example, I don't know, you are a food creator, so you do recipes, tips, I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but let's say that you cook. So you want to do, or you want to do a DIY tutorial on your profile, and you need 3 minutes, and people want to follow your step-by-step guide. I think that maybe could work better, therefore, compared to, I don't know, an outfit tutorial, uh, look ideas. So look at your analytics and test and learn from your content. If you, especially if you already have in your bucket of content long video, try it, test it, and see if for your is based on your business and based on your interest, your vertical, this kind of video can work. So there is no, correct answer to this question. So it's more about your business, and this rule is the rule. So I really suggest you to take advantage of the metrical analytics, in general of the analytics, read them and build your content strategy based on the numbers, because they are the best guide that you can have when you want to build your strategy.
Going off of that, we say this all the time too, that social media, Pinterest, everything is really, it's really a testing game. So
Yeah.
that is what is going to help you improve your strategy too. Like you can have something in your strategy, test it out, maybe it doesn't work, and then that gives you an indication that maybe you need to update that strategy, try something different. And allowing for this testing is going to give you that flexibility to really target the audience that you want.
Cool. Okay. Next one, also from Digital Biz Guru. My views are increasing, but my followers aren't. What can I do? This is a good question because, yeah, I think that for following, I think that branding content could be good. So I think that, adding in somehow your logo, or, making it known that you're the brand behind it. I want to hear your guys' point of view too, Sarah and me.
I'd
For
love to take this
followers.
one because
Yeah.
this is something that I'm very passionate about, and again is a myth busting. This is
Yeah.
perfect. You don't need to worry about your followers. It's a nice to have, but we have seen, for example, I've seen a publisher profile that has 10 million plus monthly views on Pinterest and a few thousand, which sounds like a lot, but proportionally is hugely different followers. And so it's nice. I wouldn't focus on followers, focus on those views. But if you can increase your views to saves, that should be actually where you're focusing your time. Think about how those views can become more engaging, so that your followers, your audience, not necessarily your followers plus your followers, are going to save that content to their profile, because that is going to get you even more reach. And naturally more followers will come off of the back of that. But it's truly on Pinterest a byproduct of good behavior in regards to engaging, saving content. Don't worry about followers. I know it's really, really hard as social media managers, or anyone who works in this digital space for so many years, to get this out of their head. It's also a vanity metric, right? And it's also, I understand that, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, that it's a vanity metric. But also I understand when I don't know your business, Digital Biz Guru, but you sound like a legend. But it sounds like perhaps also you might need to work with, maybe you're talking to clients who have X amount of following on this social media platform and then this amount of following on Pinterest. And hopefully this can give you the confidence to say, hang on, like when we put it on a spreadsheet and followers for this platform versus followers for Pinterest looks wildly different, and it looks negative when you put it together like that. We're not comparing the same thing here, because those followers on Pinterest are just not as important as they are on the other platforms. And so it's just not a measurement of success. That the views, the monthly views, and the engagement, the save rate of your content is super important. And if you can take that confidence and put that in to your work and to your results for your clients, for example, then that's a bit of a reframe. It can be hard to get your head around that and hard to sell that on to your clients, but that's important. Yeah, you can try and chase those followers, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. Allow it to come naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah. Super insightful, and I think super helpful, because following is such a vanity metric that people tend to obsess over. So
Okay. Is there an email list or place on Pinterest that I can go to visit to keep up to date with best practices? Yes, I think we have a
We
few.
have it, but how can I share it? Maybe you can after, Alex, because we have the create site that is create.pinterest.com, where you can find a lot of tips about content creation. And then if you go in the bottom of the page, you can also switch languages based on your language. And then there in the site, you can find the subscription box for the newsletter. So when you receive a lot of email from our community team, so you will definitely be up to date. So maybe Alex, we can share it in after.
yes, I will. After this webinar is over, I'll put a pinned comment on the YouTube replay that will have all the important links.
But I think you also added the newsletter link in your landing page, Alex, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yeah. We have,
Yeah. Okay, so you can find it there. When you subscribe for the webinars, Alex and Anison added the link for our newsletter. So I think
yes. Yeah. We highly recommend subscribing to both Pinterest and Metricool's newsletters. They're weekly, or ours is weekly, with just some best practices. And theirs is obviously going to be more Pinterest related, but ours is a little bit more social media marketing overview. So I think those can work hand in hand. Okay, amazing. I think we only have time for like 2 more. So I'll just run through these. If you update title, tag, keywords, does Pinterest re-rank the content? Is it worth going through and optimizing? This is a good question.
this is amazing. It's all about SEO, I think. So you can definitely work on it. You think about your Google strategy, to be honest. And I don't want to, nominate other platform, but when it comes to SEO, is there that we need to think about to also imagine how we can apply that views to the visual world of Pinterest. So you can refresh your content, you can rework a bit the keyword and update them to refresh your page. But you can also save it to boards, save it to section when you change your keywords. So you can definitely apply some of the SEO rules about refreshing, repurposing content that you already have on the platform, thinking about an optimization path. So, for example, you posted a content 2 years ago that had as a title living room, very generic, very, maybe blurry, not super on point. And then after 2 years, you created these amazing boards with living room inspiration where you can add different content. So let's say in your content, you have an amazing yellow sofa. So think about it, think about the content, re-optimize it and save it in the proper board, in the proper section to make the content reappear and be interesting again for Pinterest. Definitely use the same strategy that's used for SEO.
Yeah. I think something too, along with this is instead of, obviously we recommend optimizing content, but there's so many ways to create different forms of content with the same idea. So whether it's, decoration, or you're thinking about some sort of like, there's different ways that you can go that can hit different audiences. So think about the pain points or what people are searching for and this intent. So there's different ways that you can kind of set up your content to hit those things instead of just, trying to use that one piece of content and continue to repurpose it. Think about how you can use those diversification methods to use a similar, same piece of content to appeal to different audiences.
It's really a good practice to honestly find one of your top performing pieces of content on whatever social platform and just think of like 10 different ways that you can rework the hook or you could rework the description. It's great social practice for like social media managers, and you can add it to your content bucket like for evergreen content. So it's a win-win situation there.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I'm going to just follow up on here as well that Burkhart, you've just followed up on here around how it being processed and kind of how the algorithm picks up on those changes. You don't have to repin it, for example, but one thing that can be really interesting depends on what you're changing about the title or the keywords in that content. If you're changing it and actually it makes sense to be pinned to a new or a different board on Pinterest, that's possibly a really nice and very quick way to give an additional signal for that content. So if you've got Sarah's example where you've got a beautiful lifestyle image of a sofa, but actually you realize that people are saving that and it's because it's got a picture of, I don't know, a cool haircut or something in there as well. Yeah. And so you're like, oh, this was saved to my sofa board, but actually I want to change the keywords on this because this is all about their haircut and this person, for that example. I mean, there's so many examples that we could use. Think about how you could actually create a hairstyles board with the right keywords there, because then it gives even more enriching content signals to that piece of content. So you don't have to, but consider it might be a good idea and a very simple way to save it to a different board to give it even more signals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we only have time for one more. If you do have a question still, feel free to leave it. Our team can always go back and answer on the YouTube channel. But last one is, do you have any advice for getting quicker at pin creation? So I think we have a few resources to leave for viewers that will help you with this, but I'll let Mish and Sarah kind of explain.
Yeah.
From my point of view, you have a lot of different resources to be faster. Automation is the first one. So you're producing content, take advantage of your content, and imagine how many time and in how many format you can use it and schedule it in one very straightforward way. I let Alex and Aniston go, deeper in it because I'm not a pro, but this is the first things that I can think about. And then start from the main keywords and leverage the tips that you can find on Pinterest, because sometimes you get the main problem that I found in my previous experience with content providers is that they get stuck with ideas. So they don't find new idea. They don't know how to explore more option when it comes to specific topics. So just put the topics in the search bar and see what people are really interested in. Based on that, leverage your content to cover more of these keywords, because you are answering the question that people are looking for. So go for it. Mish, do you have any other idea?
Yeah, I think one other thing that I would add to this, other than just getting quicker and getting used to it and looking at your analytics to see what's working for you, I think instead of, and maybe you're not thinking about this, but if you're thinking about the final piece of content being this very polished video piece that's really, in depth, that's taken a lot of time for you to put together, that's a fantastic piece of content for Pinterest, and I'm sure you will see results with that kind of content. And how else can you add multi-format content that's kind of from that same pin? So if you imagine that pin, I'm going to use the sofa example again. Sorry, we need another one. But the sofa example, perhaps you have a beautiful video of this living room interior, but actually as part of that individual photo shoot, or maybe it's an outfit of the day or a particular tip skill that you want to offer, a product range, you have that one finished piece of content. But look at all of your B-roll that you shot as part of that individual content shoot, because it doesn't have to just be that finished piece of content that works on Pinterest. And again, this is because we're so used to different platforms and Meta, for example, where you have that one finished piece. On Pinterest, think about how you've got that one finished piece and then kind of explode that content format out. You might have then some different slices of video. You might also have like 10 different static images that just show that point of view, that image, that content from a slightly different angle, and make sure you're including keywords, links to where you want to drive that to in all of them, and test it, see what works. And then that gives you a high volume of content. Things might surprise you, and that might be how you adapt your Pinterest strategy as you go forward. But think about what that B footage can look like for you on Pinterest. It can really work for people, and it can help you either find something that works well, or it all works together as part of that mix. So yeah, think about the stuff that you may not consider and allow into other platforms, because it can work well on Pinterest. And it's okay if you upload all of that, 10, 20 pictures from one particular content shoot to your Pinterest profile. It will be connected to people when they're interested in it, rather than all served at the same time. So you don't have to worry about that.
I think something that's so unique about Pinterest too is you don't have to be put in these boxes of, okay, I'm a travel brand. I only have to post content about this, or I saw someone who said that I want to list my Airbnbs, and I think that is such an interesting thing where, you don't only have to post your services or your products. You can go for travel tips. You can go for all these different things that get you outside of the box of just your brand. And like we said, the followers aren't the main metric. It's these saves, it's these shares, it's these things that get people using the platform and being inspired. So really thinking outside of the box of, how you can use your B-roll to hit these other audiences that are searching for these things beyond just what's mainly what your brand offers.
And just to add the very last point is that there is one common keyword / trend for all the verticals that you can imagine. There is the aesthetic. So
Yes.
you can have aesthetic for everything. You can find the aesthetic part of food content, travel. So even if you don't have a perfect guide or the perfect tutorial or the perfect DIY, you have the aesthetic. So really build your own on your profile, and also don't forget to have fun. Otherwise, we miss the point of everything.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a perfect place to leave it off. And again, Sarah and Mish, thank you so much. I have one more little resource for people who are still here. So we have a code that people can use to sign up for any Metricool premium plan for 30 days for free. So this really unlocks some advanced features that we highly recommend people take advantage of and test and really see what our platform can do for you. So thank you guys so much for joining. We hope you have a great day, and don't forget to use this code. If you signed up for the webinar, we'll also send you a few resources that you can use.
You'll get a little surprise.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.